So this is a question about your non-contractual work. So when you're doing the thing that you do that you love to do, there's been such a change from dealing with record labels and the guys sort of pulling the strings and making decisions on that, and now sort of crowdsourcing. And I wonder if you feel differently when you're using crowdsourcing, which seems like it could be hundreds of people sort of saying, well, this was good or this wasn't good, and they sort of paid for it, sort of on the front end, or sort of having, you know, a handful of guys at some record label saying, hey, that's no good, write another song or something. How has crowdsourcing sort of changed your thought of creativity and what your results are from it?
Can I say something about that? So I'm in the midst of my first experiment with that right now. And I know there are a couple of people who were here for the thing I did last night, so I think I'm going to repeat myself, and I apologize for that. But it's been a really amazing experience, having been on labels for years and years and years, and most of them very friendly. Most of them actually friends, you know. I wound up in a bad situation with the most recent label that I was on, and it has stymied me putting out a record for 7 years, you know, or something. And so I finally got out of it and decided to go a, you know, crowdfunding route. And I was super nervous about all of it, you know, not just was it going to fund, but what were people going to think about me doing this? What was I going to think about me doing it? Because while I had intellectually gotten myself over the hump of the idea that this could be a useful thing, you know, I'm still emotionally bruised from both the fact that people stopped buying records and the fact, don't put that online. I still have to have a few personal conversations. Having always worked with labels who were super friendly, and you know, we were all in it together, and etc. There's still always something in my mind, I won't speak for everybody, but there's still always something in my mind that, you know, was subconsciously or consciously working on, you know, what's recoupable, what's the bottom line, you know, what do I owe, how far in the hole am I going to be, is this going to sell, you know, etc., etc. And then all of a sudden, I did this thing, and it funded, and that's just gone. And literally the only job I have now is to be creative. It's all that's in front of me. The only standard is what I, you know, hold myself to give the people who have pledged to this, you know, what I want to give them, what I think they deserve. And it's not a burden. It's actually like, it feels very joyful, and it's very new to me. So I'm still a little bit in the glow of it. Yeah. And you know, like I will, once the campaign itself is done, I will probably license it somewhere so that people who aren't involved can actually buy it. But it's just done. Like the nature of the transaction is not a company investing in you and needing to recoup on it. The nature of the transaction is we're very interested in what you're going to give us, and here's some money for it. It's nice.
We, my band Nerve Herder, did a crowd-funded record, and the gentleman who asked the question actually is in my band, so he's a plant. But you were supposed to mention where they can buy a record in your question, but we did the crowdfunding, and it was great. It was a great relief. You didn't have to worry if your friends own the record company. You don't have to worry about them ending up with a giant bill. It all gets paid for. It's all paid for ahead of time. So it's really nice. It's gratifying that people like you enough to fund it. It makes you feel good. I'd say everything. It's the only scary thing about it is that it's such a new way of funding stuff. You just wonder, well, like, people going to keep doing this? Is this the future of it? Are they going to keep paying for these records before they come out? But for us, it was a great experience, and if you can do it, it's a great way to go.
Not to get too deep in the weeds here, but you know, record labels these days rely so much on pre-sales as it is. I mean, everything is being driven, you know, with extra stuff and this to push pre-sales. That, and, you know, in a way, it's just you know, it's just removing the middleman from that process. I don't know.